Hi guys, apologize. I'm under the weather with allergies. I'm probably going to have several sips off my water. Tonight's commentary is going to be The Tall Tale of Jody Sue. It's been a few days since I last spoke with you, and I keep starting and stopping several commentaries. I get to listening to your channels and I start working on what you guys are communicating about. And the next thing I know, I'm putting my stuff to the side and get sidetracked. This one here that I'm working on, I'm condensing as it is part this. I have these long commentaries that just go on all the characters, and I just pull from them, a little bit here and a little bit there as I go along. And so when I decide I want to talk about something, and I've been really irritated this past week, as most of YouTube has been, and I tried to stay away so that it wouldn't bleed through. And so I spent last night and the last few nights listening to all the YouTube drama. And so while everyone is fighting back and forth about who knows Candace's mother, like she's some sort of prize, I'm just going to say one thing about all of that and then move on to what my commentary tonight is going to be about. So I want you all to look at those messages on both channels, Daisy's and the Queen Bee's. Compare the style of writing. Note that the word in, I-N, is used instead of the word and, A-N-D. And that there are other subtle similarities, and they're all used in both sets of messages from both channels, and both are comparable to that which came from Emma months ago. Now remember how Candace has played both Benny Keys and Ernie Shell for months, and I want you to realize that all of you are probably being played too. Instead of realizing that, everyone wants to be so adamant that they are the ones who know her, are her friends, and believe every word that is written. All this reminds me of Jody Sue, and we've spent nearly 11 long months listening to all of that nonsense. I've spoken to you all about the many inconsistencies that she has said and done since before summer disappeared. I've told you about the live videos that she did on her Facebook page before coming to YouTube. Videos done while in vehicles and inside of her home. Many of us had told you over and over and over that those videos existed. We spoke about them on Facebook groups and were called liars. She called us liars, saying that they did not exist. We spoke about them over and over and over, and many started posting them to YouTube. And still, she continued to say they didn't exist. We were saying that she was privating them or deleting them, as we couldn't find them. They weren't listed. Then she started laughing, when she would get cocky and say, "Good luck finding that, ha ha ha," which told us that she was lying. She was the liar, not us. So anyway, we went on and on and on trying to tell you that these things existed. She spoke of 16 videos. She reduced the amount of videos at that time that she had available on Facebook to 16. She privated or deleted the rest. But that was not all of the videos, as I just said. I'll speak about that more in a moment. What she did do when she began her channel on YouTube, as I've already told you ever so many times, is that she took one video and broke it down into 16 videos and uploaded that to YouTube. So when she first told you all that her videos were there on her channel, that 16 were, she was partly telling the truth, but like most things Jody Sue, it wasn't the full truth. Once people started playing all the screen recordings that they had of some of the videos that she had made and posted to Facebook prior to coming to YouTube, she knew that the cat was out of the bag, but it took her months to even say that she had not moved all of her videos over to her channel like she first said that she was going to do, and later said that she had done. She never has moved any others over, just that one that she broke into 16 pieces. She claimed that the videos which people had shown and are still being shown had been edited, taken out of context, and manipulated, and even sped up so that her speech sounded better. Again, part truth, but not all truth. Many of us screen recorded those early videos. Our videos were not shared with one another, where one person makes a video and shares it with another, and so on. Many of us screen recorded and never shared. They have not been edited, taken out of context, sped up, or manipulated in any manner, and they are perfect, untouched videos. Our video metadata tells the truth of where they come from. Now ask yourself why she, who says she is so transparent and shows her receipts, removed those videos from your view, where she is online all the time. Excuse me, because these are slip-ups on those videos, and that's why she doesn't want you to see them. Or the times that she was drinking, or the times that she made herself look bad. And I don't mean in appearance, guys. I watched her the other day take a video posted by another channel where that channel had used one of Jody Sue's early Facebook Live videos and played a second of it, and then tried to tell you that what you saw and heard was not true. Yes, it indeed is true. Every single word came from her mouth exactly as it was on her original video. However, when she is telling you that it is edited, and they're not all edited in that manner, it is not from someone changing what she said in the video, but that there are guidelines for YouTube that must be followed. You are unable to stream someone's video from YouTube. And by the way, those videos were not from YouTube, they were from Facebook. But at any rate, if you use someone's video, you can stream that entire video if you start and stop every so many seconds and either speak or add an image before starting the video back up where you had left off. In the case of the video that she showed, that was her own video, it was not sped up. I have my own screen recording that I recorded straight off her Facebook page months ago, and I compared my recording to that, which the channel had done, and it was not edited other than to stop and add an image, and then start the video again. Stop, add an image, and start the video again. She wants you to believe that all of that video was false. The only thing that was not on her original video were the images that the creator had added. So she is not being truthful with you. An honest person does not hide the videos that they're disputing. They show the videos because, remember, they have nothing to hide, right? So let me remind you that Jody Sue first came out on the news and in Facebook groups and began speaking of Summer Wells on her own Facebook channel after visiting Facebook groups for Summer Wells. She gathered quite the following just for being on those Facebook groups for Summer Wells. Nearly everyone immediately started following her, but it wasn't a big enough following. Despite her many lives done several times a day on Facebook, it still wasn't enough for her. She needed more. Just wasn't enough. So she reached out to Squall Tit, and she asked to be interviewed on YouTube, and the request was accepted. However, Squall's followers were not big enough, and so Jody Sue then moved on to other larger YouTube channels because she said she needed a larger following to get the word out. So her very first YouTube interview was on Squall Tit's channel and was aired on September 22nd, 2021. And Squall took that video down shortly after it was aired, and she never put that video back online after setting it to private until just recently. This gave Jody Sue confidence to feed you all a bunch of long, drawn-out bunch of nothing, which I will explain shortly. But first, let me tell you where to find the video on Squall's channel. As always, I will leave a link in my description box so that you can go there and listen to it in its entirety and make up your own mind as to what you're hearing. I've already made up mine. So as I said, all this time has passed while this video was inaccessible, okay? And then Squall aired it again. It is titled Flies, Vultures, Pigs, and Squirrel Titties, and aired on April 23rd, 2022, and begins at the 1 hour and 25-minute mark. And Squall does speed up the speed while replaying the original video. And she did that in order to save time. And she says so when she's playing it. Now, the Squirrel Titties is a trash nickname that Jody Sue has given to Squall. And I'm sure Squall's not in agreement with it. Instead of referring to her by name or by channel. Jody Sue does this to everyone, but nobody is supposed to treat Jody Sue unkindly. I just thought I'd toss that out there. Squall Tit is a name of a bird, you guys. Now, before I begin to speak on the video itself, I want to point out that after that video was taken down, Jody Sue thought that people would forget what they heard and not remember, but since Squall did not have a large group of followers, that would have, the chances of it being heard with that first airing of the interview, the odds were that few would have heard it. So in other words, Jody Sue tells everything in this first video with the exception of the swing set that the boys were supposed to have told her that they had last seen Summer at 5 minutes before she went missing, which, by the way, I don't believe at all, and feel that she states that because the boys cannot answer for themselves, so she remains undisputed. And she also told us, in no uncertain terms, that she knew that Summer was being abused by her father and the boys, and that the boys, too, were being abused in very inappropriate ways. But then she chastised everybody about her own kids, right? Oh, and one more thing. That the search dogs, remember the ones I told you about after she recently did the live with Tiffany Marie and spoke about how the handler was pissed because the search dog stopped at her feet? But I'll speak more on that in a moment. And also, in that live, she spoke of giving Don misinformation and he ran with it. That's it, folks. She's told you nothing else. She told you everything in September of 2021 on Squall's channel, on her very first interview on YouTube. But since Squall removed the video, Jody Sue has piecemealed bits and pieces of that puzzle, that story she told Squall, one by one, while leading you all on to think that she had suddenly recalled this and that the brain fog had lifted, and she kept you all hanging on day after day, night after night, waiting to learn more. And then suddenly she would remember something and everyone would be all in a tither about it. Not me. I remembered from September 2021 and earlier. I told you all that she was doing cliffhangers and that she had already told you all everything. She even bragged that she had and still does, and calls you all idiots because you're too lazy to do your own research and to listen and pay attention when she talks. So you wasted all your time and still are. Until something new and big comes out, and then she'll dream of something new to tell you about. But honestly, she's not even interested in summer anymore, or DV. She's more interested in involving herself in nearly all content held by other creators and any disputes that they might have going on at the time. She puts herself right smack dab in it all. Isn't that what everyone in Beach Creek says about Jody Sue? And that's what I hear. She has to have something to keep you coming back to her, guys. She needs you to come back to her page. And oh my gosh, she's got memberships now. Be sure you grab you one of those. You don't want to miss out on something, do you? So I'm going to let you go to Squall's page and listen to Jody Sue tell you what she told Squall on her very first YouTube interview. And I'm sad that you can't access Doug's at No Thanks Investigates now. It was taken down, but there was a ton of Jody Sue live videos there where she would come and hop on his panel nightly after visiting Ziggy's and other creators that she doesn't like anymore. Videos of Jody Sue asking for money, Jody Sue defending her man, Jody Sue putting money on her son's Cash App while she does all the work, if you catch my drift. Her tears at having to defend her Andy once it came out that Hunter had said that Andy was a drug dealer and was on the Wells property trying to touch the little kids and had sent Candace a message saying it is done. Nobody ever said that it was for sure Jody Sue's Andy, but she sure acted like it was and defended him to the max and still does. The man that she's claimed abused her for 26 years, and she recently had her own daughter come on live and taped her daughter until her daughter was reduced into tears. All that was done to punish a YouTube creator. You would think that someone who had suffered DV would recognize when they themselves are acting a certain way. Emotional abuse. But again, I stray from the topic. But no, I guess I'm not, because she claimed that Doug emotionally abused her for asking her about Andy. What I found odd was she had zero problems using him and Ziggy in order to get money and gifts sent to her. But as soon as either one of them became brave enough to ask her about Andy, she flipped a switch and claimed both abused her, a DV survivor. Odd, right? And before you go there, you can think whatever you want about me. I've suffered both DV as well as cancer, and I can call bullshit where I see it, and I see it. This is not bullying or harassment. This is speaking the truth and calling out bullshit just like she does every single day on her channel about most every YouTube creator out there in the true crime community. I would name them all, but it would take far too long. To listen to Jody Sue, she is the only honest person out there giving truthful information, and I beg to differ. Now let me take you to my first red flag with Jody Sue. And from that moment on, I put her at the top of my list right beside Candace. It is perfectly possible that she is totally innocent. However, What she has said and done during these past 10 plus months has placed herself very high on my list. So my first real red flag, a flaming red flag, was when she said that she first began searching for Summer before Candace knew. And I can't see that. She tells us that she's walking down her driveway to meet up with Andy, who was running late, and she tells us that she knew he would be at least another 30 minutes. And this is in June, guys, and she was unwell, remember? You know, thyroid, you have heat, regulating temperature problems. And so she decided she would go ahead and go on down and screw around with her flowers while waiting on him. Evidently, Andy was concerned with her being in the heat because he said he would text her as he passed his mom's house. And she was like, oh, no problem. I'll just, go on down and mess with my flowers. And so according to her, that is what she did. She sent the 609 message to him and headed down the hill to the bottom. And as she was getting close to the bottom, she heard them, but never said exactly who them were, calling out for Summer, but not in a frantic way, but their volume increased. So she threw her purse down and rushed to the creek to start searching. So now, this is the creek that she earlier told you and hoped that you all would later forget is filled with needles and so on, right? She said that she put the tires in that open space off the side of the road because people would buy dope and sit there and shoot up and toss their needles into the creek. Remember that? I'm not sure when those tires were put up because I've heard two different versions. One, to keep the dope heads from parking there, and two, to keep Jackie Dobbs from being able to park there. Now stick with me, folks. She first rushes to the creek, right? She also told you that her male neighbor was there. So this would mean that the male neighbor was already searching as well, right? But later, she told us that Candace stopped and talked to the man, and he then came to search. So let's go back to where she rushes to the creek, and she tells us that she's wearing sandals. So she tells the neighbor to take the bank and that she would wade through the creek because she had on sandals and he would have gotten his shoes wet. So she first tells us that she removed her sandals and walked in her bare feet so that she could feel the bottom, in case you step on a body, you would be able to tell, right? But then once people in chats on several channels started bringing it to attention that she had said she had waded in the needle-filled creek barefooted, she suddenly changed that to she was wearing sandals when she went into the creek. As I have told you before in my earlier commentaries, she told us that she went into the creek because she knows about search dogs and she did not want to mess up their scent with her scent, which to me makes me think that she did not know anything about search dogs until much, much later in time, and only after Googling and watching another creator discuss them. So for those of us that do know, we know that search dogs can also pick up scents via water if trained to, but that it is not the problem. What is the problem is if she was worried about the dogs becoming confused with her scent, and if she was worried, why didn't she worry about the neighbor's scent too? As she told us that they were walking side by side, he on the bank and her in the water. And when she got out of the water, they remained close enough to always have visual on one another. She's made a very big point to say that every single time she discussed any of that. She always says it. Well, she always says most everything the same way. except for rambling on and losing it and saying too much or screwing things up. And so anyway, they have the visual eyes on each other. So why would her scent be a distraction, but not the man's scent? And here's the biggest flag of all, because she apparently did not know what really was going on up on that hill, other than that they were calling for summer. Why did she assume so quickly that search dogs would even be needed? She had no idea how long Summer had been missing, or if she was indeed missing. Remember, 1 minute the man is just there and suddenly searching along with her. The next time she told the story, Candace spoke to the man while riding around in the truck, and he then came to search. Do you all remember that? I bet you can't find it now. Do you remember Candace saying that she drove and did not see anybody anywhere on or near the road? She later changed her story and included Jody Sue. Don mentioned the male neighbor. By the time that she started including Jody Sue was around the time that Jody Sue said that she had a video chat with Candace, where Candace was trying to get her to change her story. Remember that too? Don mentioned the male neighbor helping to search, and he only saw the male neighbor and the boys off to the side of the shed. He said the guy's a great guy, but he knew as soon as he saw him that Summer was truly gone. None of those people have ever identified who the person was. I understand that you want to help someone not be pestered by YouTubers, but it was odd since everyone else around there was mentioned by Dawn, Candace, and Jody Sue, and one more creator I really don't want to mention and involve. They're going through enough right now. Now, the second red flag that knocked my others out of the place and rushed this one into second place. Remember what I spoke to you about in an earlier commentary about Jody Sue going on that live with Tiffany Marie on her channel. Remember, Jody Sue was given the floor and allowed to ramble on, and she did, and she messed up several times. She began speaking about the dogs, but this time it wasn't the dogs, Candace and Jody Sue's dogs. That was the issue. It was the search dog. She first said that Candace had put all the dogs in her vehicle, and then suddenly said that Candace and them were out with everyone else, but immediately retracted that statement to say that Candace and them were in the house. And the search dog stopped at Jody Sue's feet, right? These were the feet that had just walked through the creek. I discussed how several search dogs. I am so tired, guys. Search dogs work, and we'll not go into that right now. So if you would like and have yet to, please visit that video on my page. Anyhow, she tells us how the search dog stopped at her feet and the handler was pissed, and then goes on to change that and say that the dog was stopped at her feet. She then tried to correct all of that by saying that the search dog was the problem and that the search dog wanted to fight her dogs. And then suddenly it wasn't her dogs, but all of the dogs. So I guess someone let all the dogs out from wherever they had been put. You know, make it make sense, you guys. Well, then she goes on this long thing about how the search dog did this and that, and she knew it was messed up and it was a bad search dog. Now let me take you back to one of the videos that Jody Sue keeps telling you all does not exist, that they are parts of videos put together, taken out of context, sped up, and manipulated, And she has never said any of those things that everyone shows, and it's all bullshit, right? These are the very early videos that she made and put on her Facebook page that I'm talking about. There are a few that she has done since moving from across the road from the Wells, but these very early ones, they're the ones that she does not want seen. There's a reason, and you have to pay attention. She realizes when she messes up, and her mannerisms tell you that she realized that she did so, but for some reason, for the longest time, she couldn't bring herself to remove them until she started getting caught. So I'm going to include a link to a YouTube channel in my description box. It's an unedited screen recording that was not edited, not sped up, not taken out of context, and not manipulated in any way. I know this because I too have my own copy in which I made. There are others out there on other channels, and I'm sure if you have yet to stumble across them, you will. Mine are transcribed with a long commentary that I keep running on each one of these characters. But since I do not put up videos and I speak only on my channel, I choose to direct you to other channels so that you can see them for yourself. Maybe someday in the future, I will add them all to YouTube, all the screen recordings, but I'm not sure. I'm tempted though, big time. But for now, please check out Ambermoon, all one word, and you might have better luck typing in the title rather than the name. But as always, I'll include a link in my description box. Ambermoon channel and Jody Sue's video was posted on Ambermoon's channel on November 11th, 2021, entitled #SummerMoon, #Jody Sue, Car Diary, #not changing her story for anyone. Now in this video, Jody Sue is sitting in her vehicle and she is first complaining about the fundraiser. Her favorite thing to complain about besides being terrorized in some manner. But I want you to start listening at the 2020 mark where she is speaking of Candace wanting her to change her story, right? We've all heard that, with some variations to the story added along the way. She states that Candace was telling her that the fight between herself and Dawn on YouTube was fake, and Jody Sue did not know why Candace was lying to her. Then she goes on to talk about how Candace's teeth, and she needed teeth, and how Candace was looking to get her teeth done and had told Jody Sue to not mess with the money. Jody Sue, Candace tells Jody Sue that she's going to need a lot of support, and that's when Jody Sue says that she realized that money was more important. Up to then, she seemed to be convinced, a little hint of doubt, that the Wells were innocent. Up until this point, according to Jody Sue. So, she goes on to say, and these are her words, that it got darker and weirder during that video chat between myself and Candace because she realized that the entire time that they were digging, and they shouldn't be unless somebody else is in the room or somebody else is doing whatever, or they're unintelligible. They're lying, you know. And she goes on to say that what we had happen a few days ago had a call made, basically saying that Voldemort/Andy was still here, or we were there, or some such, and Summer's body was, oh yeah. And everybody was like, we know better, but whatever. But the call had been made to an address I'm not actually at, okay? Now the feds know where I'm at, so that immediately tells me that somebody who's not professional, I don't know, PI, or Chase with Google there, or his watchers, or whatever, don't get it right. Anyway, So that tells me where the call came from, for starters. And the weird part is the hill knew where I was at. Because she and I, just a week or two prior, had talked about her visiting, whatever, getting her stuff here that's hers, that I was nice enough to bring with me because I knew once I left the hill on my side, there wouldn't be access to it. Andy would probably steal it, so I brought it here. That way, that wouldn't happen. So they never picked it up, and she specifically mentioned everything. And like, I seen them pass by. They know where I'm at. So I don't know what kind of game that was, but they let the PIs or Chase or whoever believe whatever the hell and made the call up to other places where I'm not. But on the video chat played me like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you're really at. Like, bullshit you don't. Bullshit you don't. Why are you lying about something so basic, so simple, you know? Why? And then there's that theory again, pieces and parts, that has Chase's little hands all over that call-in. All right, guys, it's my time now, my words. Okay, now, here's another red flag. And I added that, just what I just said to you, so that she can't claim that I took anything out of context, like she always does. But the following is what I really want you to pay attention to, and I will explain why there are things within it that are so important. So I will use her exact words, and I will begin where the 25-minute, 10-second mark is in that particular video. And then what I get is people trying to make me misremember what I heard and saw the day that Summer disappeared. And that's something nobody on this fucking earth for any amount of money is gonna do. Nobody, not ever. You ain't gonna bribe me. You're not gonna scare me. You're not gonna make me stand down. Nope. So what I then get is, somebody told me that you said the last place that you seen Summer was getting out of the shower with Donnie. No, that's not what you seen and saw. The fuck it ain't. Last time I saw that little girl was 2 days before she went missing, and that's exactly what I saw. That's exactly what I heard. She was naked as the day is long, with that damn door at the top level, and she was yelling at you for a damn towel, while the oldest was out there talking and chatting with me, and you were yelling at him because he was, Jody Sue's right about the dogs. Once again, you all kept dismissing since day one, trying to make it seem like it ain't something it is. Those fucking dogs are the key. Those dogs are the key. Want to know how I know that? Because they're partly my pups. Because I watched and I listened. Because my brain ain't burnt. Because I sat there over a month listening in the dark. His footsteps left that driveway as gravel crunched below Don's heels. As I listened to boards lift up and things move around in the dark. As I watched things disappear off my trail cameras after you all suddenly realized I had them. All these little pieces, but that is exactly where I saw Summer last. She was yelling, kind of being a brat. Nobody come get her a towel, and I had to ask, is that the boys? 'Cause the shadow behind her, right? And her hair. And I couldn't see good that night, and Andy was driving that night, and I was in the passenger seat. Actually, no. I think I'm wrong on that. I was in the driver's seat, I believe, because the oldest was right there, and you were to the right. Yep, and you were in your usual garb and had definitely not gotten out of the shower. And here you are on live chat with me on Facebook the other night, telling me that no, that isn't who it was. You who had gotten out of the shower with Summer. Remember? No, because that ain't true. It's not true. I remember the truth, which is exactly where and how I saw Summer last. And I know Andy saw her the night before she went missing, but I saw her 2 nights before. But what I can't figure out is why all of a sudden, all these months of you knowing this, why all of a sudden is it pertinent that you're going to try to fuck with my memory, try to manipulate me, try to talk me into stuff, like you're really going to think I'm going to go back and lie to the feds and be like, here, officer, sir, I need to change my story. You got the wrong girl. All right, folks, it's me again. There is a whole lot more on that video. And if you've yet to see it, please do visit Ambermoon's channel and view it in its entirety, because I'm leaving out a lot. I only wish to speak on what I have just told you in order to tell you what concerns me. You may need to rewind in order to follow along with me, because there are many concerns in just that short bit that I just spoke of. And she said it all so fast that it's really hard to take in. So first, let's start from the beginning. All right. Jody Sue tells you that everyone in the area knew where she had moved to, and that there was no secret to where she was living, and even Andy knew, right? Jody Sue tells you that she had a video chat with Candace, and Candace tells Jody Sue that she's going to need a lot of support and not to mess with the money. So why would Candace be telling Jody Sue anything to do with Candace's money? Jody Sue says that people are trying to make her misremember what she saw and heard and are messing with her memory, and that no amount of money is going to make her change her story, nor will she be scared, because she's not going to go to the feds now in order to change her story. What I think was going on at that point was everybody was changing their story, and Jody Sue started freaking. Jody Sue then begins to tell you about where and when she saw Summer last, and that it was 2 nights before Summer went missing, and she was getting out of the shower with Donnie. Note she said Donnie, not Dawn, right? How many times you hear her called Donnie? Wasn't very often, was it? There's also a message floating around where Andy said that he saw Summer last 2 nights before Summer disappeared. Not the night before, 2 nights. Jody Sue, make sure to tell you she saw Summer last 2 nights, and that Andy saw her the last night before Summer disappeared. We know that Hunter's sister had already come out with a statement saying that she knew that Dawn showered with Summer before Jody Sue ever said anything like that. And then suddenly Jody Sue stated the same. Only she states that she saw a naked Summer on the upper level by that damn door, yelling for a towel, while the oldest was out there chatting with Jody Sue. And Candace was yelling at him because he was like, Jody Sue is right about the dogs. Once again, that you all keep dismissing since day one, trying to make it seem like it's, that it ain't something that it is. Well, I believe she's right now. So let me just stop right there. Did you hear that? She has said that same thing exactly the same way before. And I spent the entire evening tonight double checking to make sure. First, she is saying that she saw Summer coming out of the shower with Dawn. But then Summer is standing by the damn door. Which door? Jody Sue argued that there were no doors in the house, remember? She argued against what Jose had said because he had said that there was another door at one time that blocked off the first room coming into the house from the kitchen area. Or was Jody Sue outside the whole time? And if so, how did she see Summer coming out of the shower with her dad? But the biggest flag of all is that she is telling you that Summer was alive while Jody Sue is discussing the dogs with Candace's eldest son. Remember, the story Jody Sue tells is that she later went to Candace's house and was talking about the dogs after Summer went missing and how they acted odd after Summer disappeared, and that Wyatt agreed with her about how odd the dogs were acting. Now, Wyatt is not the oldest son of the Wells, so that is off too. Now tell me, why Jody Sue, Josie, and Candace would be having a conversation about how the dogs acted after Summer disappeared if Summer hadn't disappeared yet. Why would they be having that conversation while Summer was still alive and yelling at the same time for a towel? Can you explain that? It's not a Jody Sue Squirrel moment, you guys, because like I said, she has said it before. I don't know what to say about it. So now let's look at the rest of the story, and note, I'm saying story. Remember, when Jody Sue starts to get into her mode, she slips. Even if especially if she's been raging about something like the fundraiser, that kind of thing, prior. So now let's look at the rest of the story. Jody Sue begins to actually tell you a story, as if you're reading her book, detailed. Listen to the detail. Gravel crunching under Dawn's foot, stuff disappearing off trail cameras. So many things in that one part that are red flags. How did she know it was Dawn? How would she know something disappeared off the cameras? She does not say that the cards were missing yet. We've heard that song and dance too. That's not what she's saying here. And it's not what she said in other videos, early ones. That stuff went missing off of them. Now, boards lifting, just doesn't make any sense. And this is all after Summer went missing, she's saying. And that she sat in the dark and listened to it. But then the next time she's talking to you, she's telling you that she spent all night long outside on the bank for well over a month protecting her daughter. Okay? Remember now. Now, I don't believe any of it. It's a story, period. Now, just look at this next red flag. She starts to speak again of Summer coming out of the shower, and Jody Sue had to ask if it was Summer because the shadow behind her. And Jody Sue asked if Summer was one of the boys, and she brought up Summer's hair. So this means Jody Sue, does this mean that Jody Sue couldn't see Summer? Were they outside in the dark and Summer was backlit by light? You know, what was going on that Jody Sue couldn't see Summer, but saw Summer. So anyway, was something wrong with Jody Sue's vision? I know she has said that her eyes go bad at times. Was that happening? Had she been drinking? Could it be why she seemed so confused? She was talking to the eldest boy, and yes, she did not say that the other two boys were also in the room, but she did say that Summer was yelling for a towel. So if Summer could speak, because you know, everyone else has said that she couldn't, then Jody Sue would know that it had been Summer, right? Well, let's look at the next one, that next red flag. Jody Sue then tells you that she couldn't see good that night, right? And that Andy was driving. So Jody Sue was in the passenger seat. And then she does this very long pause before correcting herself, saying that she was wrong, and that she was the one in the driver's seat, and then adds she believes, which means she's not sure where she was sitting. Kind of reminds me of Hunter, don't it? And then proceeds to say that the eldest was just right there beside her and that you were to the right. Yeah, and so she's like pointing her fingers, you know, this person's here and this person's there. So who was to the right, Jody Sue? Andy? Are you even still in the car? Were you standing somewhere? I mean, you're driving and you're talking about these people. Who is the you? Okay, she's mentioned Andy, the eldest, and then she's speaking about a you, because she immediately goes from, and you were right there, and in that same breath, her next sentence is, and you were in your usual garb and had definitely not gotten out of the shower. So if she wasn't talking to Candace, was she talking to Andy? Was there running water across the hill? I don't understand this. You know, I don't understand this, guys. I don't know. You know, I don't think that was Andy that she's talking about. Where were they going? Why were they in a car? Why was Candace in the car? Why was the eldest in the car? Jody Sue's eldest. Didn't Jody Sue say that her children never went across the street over there to the Wells house? Fred Hill said that it happened, but Jody Sue said no. So I don't understand. I believe if it was just Jody Sue, her son, and Andy, and I'm not even sure that Jody Sue ever even got out of the car, you guys, at this point. That would explain the door and the shadow and not being able to tell if it was Summer or one of her boys, and Candace yelling out and Jody Sue saying, I was out there talking to one of the boys. And, you know, I really don't know what to say about all that. Remember way back when Don did several interviews and spoke of how he would sneak up on Summer and scare her because he wanted to make her aware of her surroundings due to bears, coyotes, and other wild animals. Remember how he went straight from that to saying that in his next sentence, that he would sneak up to her when she sat behind a car and scare her? Same conversation. Sentence after sentence. He states, goes on in that same interview to say that he would not wish prison on anyone if it was an accident. Y'all remember that? Okay. Why would Don mention anything about scaring Summer behind a car while he's discussing Summer having been abducted and wouldn't have wandered off the property, and that she knew about bears and stuff like that, so she wouldn't have went out in the woods, and then immediately talk about being behind a car and how he wouldn't wish prison on anyone if something was an accident. And now after all of that, Jody Sue goes on about how Candace was out for money, going on YouTube for money, and mentions clicks, likes, and views and super chats, and how Jody Sue would never do any of that for money concerning a missing child. But she has. She is. Everything that she speaks on concerns Summer, no matter if she's speaking of Jose, Hunter, Allie, or whomever. The only time it is not about Summer is when she is bashing a YouTube creator. But even then, it usually has something to do with Summer, her family, or her family's friends. Funny how fast Jody Sue became what she bashed Candace for. Hell, we hardly heard from Candace. And even after Dawn went to jail, we did not hear from her all that much. But Jody Sue, however, has been on every day for hours, front and center, and now, like I said, accepting memberships. Well, you guys, I've had plenty more to say, but it's the middle of the night and I'm going to pay for it because I got to get up in like 3 hours. So I'm going to cut this short and get it uploaded and shove myself into bed. And please look at that video and see what you think. But before I go, I want to mention one more thing. I truly thought that Jody Sue would stay off of YouTube after she put her daughter through what she did on live. And I thought maybe she had finally woke up to the realization of what she was doing to herself and her family. Nope, she was right back at it today, tearing a new one in Daisy, someone she had been after for months now because Daisy voiced her suspicions about Jody Sue months ago. So Daisy is also added to the long list of people that Jody Sue wants to burn down in her path across the true crime community on YouTube. And so with that, I'll close for now. Wish you all a safe night and a wonderful day tomorrow. Try to be nice to one another. It really doesn't take much effort. And remember, guys, this is about Summer Wells. I'll speak to y'all soon. Good night.